Hello everyone, my name is Hồng Bảo Ngọc Nguyễn Lukima, and today I would like to give my online presentation about the topic of cross-listing and strategic alliances. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the part 12.3, the advantages and disadvantages of cross-listing, and 12.4, strategic alliances. So let my presentation begin. Firstly, this is the graph that I take from our book. So it shows very overallly about the advantages and also the disadvantages of cross-listing. So cross-listing is meaning that we listing a company on a foreign exchanges. So here are the benefits, including reduction of cost of capital, liquidity, integration, corporate governance, increased shareholder base, also easier to get access to capital and other benefits. But also we also have the disadvantages about the cost of listing fees or accounting requirements disclosure. So now I'm gonna dig in deeper on these advantages and disadvantages. Firstly, the first advantage of cross-listing is about liquidity. So the cross-listing, it helps to improve the liquidity, lower expected returns, and then increase the stock price. We have lots of researching about this. So the research has shown that when a company listing abroad, it will increase the total trading volume significantly and decrease the whole market bid-ask spread thanks to the competition in the market, and then it leads to more efficient price and fewer chances to exploit insider trading, which is a good side of this. However, the policymakers also worry about the adverse effects of multi-market trading, like for example, non-cross-listing companies, home market traders or local exchange workers are made worse off, and there's a study about this of Harling in 2008 has proved that the local turnover increase for cross-listing firms based in developed markets, but decreases in firms based in emerging markets. So the second advantage is about wider shareholder base. A research study made by Marathon in 1987 has shown that the investor might face lots of information asymmetries, intersection by the hidden cost, and thanks to the cross-listing, a wider shareholder base will be built, and then it leads to less risky and lower expected returns, and then the stock price will increase. The third advantage is about the market integration. Thanks to cross-listing, it will reduce the cost of capital and also reduce the investment barriers for investors. And talking about the investment barriers, we have direct and indirect barriers, which we can have further. If you would like to read more about this, you can read in the research of Beckard in 1995 or Nishiotis in 2004. Moving on to the next advantage, it's going to be about the corporate governance signal. The cross-listing is going to help us to reduce agency problems and improve the corporate governance and lower cost of capital. A good example taken from the book is about the largest Korean bank, Kookmin Bank, which was listed on a New York Stock Exchange in 2001. The CEO of this bank has stated very clearly why they do this, because there was a financial crisis in Korea in 1997, and that's why lots of foreign investors suspected about the Korean banks. So this bank have used the cross-listing as a corporate governance signal to show to the foreign investor and to show to the world that the Korea Bank has improved and have recovered from the financial crisis. And it's also a good policy taking advantage of cross-listing, and they succeeded. And also for this was the research studies of Caroline and Stu in 2004, or Rees and Weisbach in 2002, Landlins and Mueller in 2002 also support for this advantage of corporate governance thanks to cross-listing. Another advantage is about the capital needs and growth opportunities. A research study of Lynn Strickland and Zehner in 2005 has proved that much less financially constrained and considerably increase in fund of the foreign companies listed in USA. I mean, that's thanks to the cross-listing, they have improved a lot in the finance, and they have more funds to support their growth in the companies. Also, another studies in of Hale and Leusch in 2009 have shown that half of the increase in firm value from a U.S. cross-listing companies is thanks to the increasing in the growth expectation. So when a company they really need more funds to develop, cross-listing might be a good choice in this case. And there are also other advantages mentioned in this part. For example, cross-listing will have to improve the commercial profile and brand awareness, like about the marketing thing. And one good example is about a German company SAB. As we know now, SAB is a really big company. But back to that time, they would like to seek for more US customer, and they use cross-listing as a strategy to find more customer and improve their brand awareness in the foreign countries. And also a research study of Park, Gano, Rouen, and Zehner in 2002 has shown that cross-listing firm sale has increased by 20%. So mean that the cross-listing have to increase the foreign sales of a company. And also it's also a good strategy when a company have a plan for cross-border acquisitions. And another advantages mentioned here is about the human resources. The human resources got advantages from the cross-listing because it's gonna be easier for them to get access to stock and then find talent working, for example, in US. However, there were some disadvantages of cross-listing also. Like for example, it's really costly for this process. Some companies they have to prepare it for years just for this purpose, and there are unexpected adjustments inside the companies because they have to adjust to follow the rules of US GAAP. Uh, Research studies of Deutsch, Caroli, and Sturz in 2004 has proved that cross-listing is good for the firms actually, but it might not be so beneficial for the controlling shareholders under the requirements of US GAAP because it will increase the minorities, the shareholder minorities, but then it might reduce the controlling shareholders in the company. So we come to the conclusion. So which firms is suitable for cross-list? So we think that the firms with good growth opportunities and they are in need of funds to invest but being challenged to finance growth with internal funds or debt. And the private benefits of control are relatively modest. So the controlling shareholders get benefits from the firm's growth thanks to this cross-listing. Then these firms satisfy this kind of condition or they have this kind of characteristic. They are good to go further in the cross-listing process. Talking about the next part, 12.4 is about the strategic alliances. So a strategic alliance is about an agreement between legally distinct entities to share the costs and benefits of what is hoped to be a beneficial activity. And one good example is about a joint venture. About two or more independent firms form and jointly control a different entity created to purpose a specific objective. So the question here is being raised is that why are these formed instead of doing it internally? So to answer for this question, we will mention about a term which is the underdog project. So what is underdog project? This is the kind of project have high payoff off, but it's kind of very difficult to succeed. It's kind of risky project. We will make, for example, in this pandemic, corona pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, uh, people try to seek out for the vaccination. But it's a really risky thing. Of course, very high payoff. If you can produce a good vaccination, you're gonna earn lots of money because lots of people desperately need it in all over the world. But then it's a very risky project and it costs money and it's also costs human labor and lots of investment on it. So if one company they have to put the whole efforts and everything human resources or everything on it, it's gonna be a burden for them. So they would like to seek for maybe a smaller company to cooperate with them, and then they gonna the big company they have more money they will sponsor for this project. However, they make sure that the smaller company will contribute, for example, human resources or others resources, and then they have like the win-win strategy here that both companies get beneficial in this project, and even if this project cannot succeed, there's not so much harm for any of the companies. So I guess this underdog project and this joint venture or strategic alliance is like a win-win cooperation in this case. So thank you for listening to me and I hope you enjoy. Please put any questions if you would like to ask. Thanks again. Bye bye.